Hi, this is Christina with the Sisyphean Journal, and this is kind of a combination rant from my kitchen reaction. I'm just starting on James Lindsay's Groomer Schools Part 3, The Creation of an American Red Guard, and he starts out, I guess, kind of reviewing the communist purpose of getting sex education, comprehensive sex education in the schools, is to destabilize the children. And that made me think about what Carol Everett said many long years ago. Carol Everett was an entrepreneur who ran a chain of abortion clinics in Texas. And somebody that she considered very much an ally was what she called the do-gooders. And that included people who were doing sex education. And she explained that for her purposes, the whole point of sex education was to shift the children's trust from their parents to Planned Parenthood and the birth control suppliers. And she said that this started in kindergarten. The Planned Parenthood instructor would come in, get all the kids in the circle like for story time, and she'd ask the first kid, what does your mommy call your private parts? And of course, they're in kindergarten. A mom's going to call it a pee-pee or a wiener or something like that. So whatever the kid says, the Planned Parenthood lady laughs. And then they go to the next kid. What does your mother call your private parts? And whatever that kid says, the Planned Parenthood lady laughs. And by the time they get to the third kid, all the children know that they're supposed to laugh at whatever mommy calls their private parts. And then the instructor would, no, they're really called a penis and a vagina. And the purpose of that was not to educate the children about the actual terms, penis and vagina. The point was to teach the kids that their parents were silly and not a trustworthy source of information. And bingo! Here we have it going on even more deeply, where, they're teaching kids, just because your mom says you're a boy doesn't mean you are. If you feel pretty today, you're actually a girl. So, this has been going on a long time. And like I said, this just reminded me of Carol Everett back in the 80s describing what they were having the sex educators do in schools. For Carol, it was, you don't want the girls going to their parents when they're thinking about becoming sexually active. You want them to go to you. You put them on ultra low dose birth control that has to be taken at the same time every day in order to be effective, because they know these teenage girls aren't going to be consistent taking this at the same time every day. They're probably going to sleep late on weekends and wind up taking it at noon instead of at 7, and they're going to get pregnant. And Carol said her goal was to sell, I think it was 7 abortions to each girl before she graduated high school, or some ridiculously high number. But the idea was you get the kids to go to you rather than to their parents, because then you encourage early sexual activity, because then you can sell them the birth control, you can sell them the STD test, you can sell them the pregnancy tests, and you can sell them the abortions. But you have to separate them from their parents first to derail their lives this way for fun and profit.